Well, there are a couple of dangers to adapting to the future that I see common among companies. The first is we get wed to a paradigm. My friend Joel Barker says when the paradigm changes, the most vulnerable are always the people who were most successful in the previous paradigm. Here's a great example of that that's common to all of us. BlackBerry, Research in Motion, and the iPhone. When I do speeches, I often ask, let's first see who won the war. And I say, how many of you have a BlackBerry? Raise your hand. There's usually one dinosaur in the room. And then almost everyone else has an iPhone. Recently, in fact, just yesterday, one woman said, well, I have a BlackBerry, but I also have an iPhone. An interesting question is, BlackBerry Research in Motion literally made the smartphone famous. So why did they miss the future? Because they were so wed to the paradigm of what made them successful, a keyboard, a very traditional interface, that when the iPhone first came out without a keyboard and with all these colorful icons, they actually had a nickname for it at senior levels at Research in Motion. They called it the toy because they were so wed to what had made them successful. So the first thing is never get wed to what made you successful. The second thing about the future is you should always have someone in your organization asking, if I were to put us out of business, what would I do? I've done some work at Google. And at Google, one of the things they say is, you should have some people in the basement of your business asking how you would put you out of business because somebody's in their garage right now asking that question. And I'll give you a great example. A lot of people know Tinder. Online dating has gone mainstream now. 50% of people who get married this year in North America will have met online. Well, almost no one knows that Tinder was actually invented by Match.com. The story on the internet is three entrepreneurs went to the Stanford Innovation Lab and created Tinder. The true story is the CEO of Match.com sent some of his best people to the Stanford lab with this question: if you were to put us out of business, what would you do? They said, our site is too slow. Some people just want to meet someone because the magic happens the moment you're in the same room. If you can get to that quickly, that's what you would do to put us out of business. But guess what? There's still Match.com. Look it up. They've always owned Tinder. So instead of a competitor, they disrupted themselves. That's how we have to think about the future. If you were your competitors, what would you do to put you out of business? When you think that way, you invent Tinder before someone else does.